on the right hand side of the screen, you will see Properties and Toolbox. On the home screen, your properties are automatically set for a global background color and a global text color. This allows you to change the background color or the global text color and apply it across your entire app project. That way you don't have to change it on every individual screen. The only time you will not see a global background color available is if you are using a background image. Then the background image by default will show up on all the internal screens. However, on the home screen, while you can't change the background color, on internal pages, you'll be able to change them as it fits your needs. So you will always have the ability to change the background color on the other pages. You can also change your text color as you find needed. Another example of using these properties will apply as you are working throughout your app project. So, for instance, if I come to a phone canvas like I am here, I can go to the individual pages and I can change my background color if I would like. Or I can click on part of the content. So if I come here where this title is, I can change the background color of the title. I also have the ability to change the text color. And I can also change the size of my text. I can change the alignment of my text. I can also add what is called a corner radius, which just kind of rounds off an area. So for example here, if I change this background color to a purple, and then I decide I want to change that corner radius to round it off, it'll round off the edges here to make it look a little bit more rounded, maybe even more like a button, even though it is not one. We also have the option here to use padding as needed. I don't recommend using padding too often because it can look different on different devices. It might actually cut off some of your words, but you have the option to use that here as well. So that's just an example of properties. Next, we have what is called the toolbox. Like properties, the toolbox is going to change depending on what you're working on. So on the home screen, you will always have access to generic tools, and this applies across the entire project. We have a text label, an image label where you can just drop it and put down images, buttons, which we have buttons here on our home screen. The button is required for you to be able to gain access to an app block. So if you've built out an app block, you're not going to be able to get to it on the app until you put a button there. And we also have special features. These special features apply where they are needed. So first we have what's called an HTML snippet. This is actually to be used with an HTML5 code widget. It allows you to drop it on the screen, point it to your HTML5 code widget app block, and then it will just display on the screen versus you having to tap on it and load. Next, we have a flyout trigger button. This is going to be used on specific pages. Android will always have the flyout menu available, but iOS doesn't necessarily always have that flyout. So this will apply where it's needed. And our last special feature here is called the carousel. The carousel allows you to be able to display information on your home screen only. So this can be a rotating banner of different locations. It can be a static milestone, anything that you would like to display in your app that your users will be able to see. Again, with the toolbox, as you are going through your app project, it will change depending on what page view you're on. So for instance, I am on what is called a list view. And when I go to my toolbox, I will have more tools available to me, such as my text content or any images. I still have generic tools, and I will also have actions available. If you are on an input view, you will also have a fourth tab up here that's for inputs, and it's very specifically only to be used on an input view page view. If I go to a detail view, you will also see that I have more content available to me and images as well. The nice thing about the toolbox with your content is that you can very easily just drag and drop the content over and then format as needed. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in later lessons.